Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Payne, and welcome to another review video. And in this video, we're going to be reviewing another show that finished in the summer of 2018, and this time it's going to be the one, the only Island. Island is a romance and science fiction anime directed by Keiichiro Kawaguchi, written by Naruhisa Arakawa, and was made by Studio Feel, coming off their latest hit anime series, Hinamatsuri, which came out in the spring of 2018. As for Island, it came out in the summer of 2018 and consisted of 12 episodes. It started off as a visual novel that was released by the game developers over at Front Wing. It was released in Japan in 2016 and worldwide back in late August of 2018. And last time I checked, I think it's around $60 on Steam. And I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. If it was $30, I would buy it, but I am just too poor for that shit. I'll stick with the anime, thank you. So the story of Island follows a guy named Setsuna who was sent from the future as he washes up on the beach of an island known as Urashima, being told that he has to save someone. And while he's trying to find out what the hell to do, he meets three girls. Rin, the daughter of a wealthy family, Karen, the daughter of the mayor of Urashima, and Sarah, a shrine maiden, who are the daughters of the three wealthiest families on the island. But while hanging out with them, Setsuna discovers that 5 years prior to his arrival, Urashima cut off all contact with the mainland after most of its residents was hit with a disease known as soot blight syndrome, which is characterized by extreme photosensitivity. And after finding out that Rin, one of the three girls, has it, Setsuna, for the rest of the series, sets off to find out where it's coming from, how to stop it, how to save Rin, and how to save Urashima. So to be completely honest, the simple premise of Island honestly made me curious about the show at first. Taking place on an island known as Urashima, it gives the impression of a setting of isolation as it's away from cities, civilizations, and the social problems that we have to deal with in our everyday lives. In fact, the first few episodes really make it clear that the islanders there do live in a carefree way. However, it didn't take long for me to realize that there's more that meets the eye about the story's mystery. A big part of the show is trying to sell its suspenseful plot by connecting the past with the present. Before I actually get into the juicy part of the show, it's noticeable that Island underwent some changes before the actual premiere. From what I know, there was a dispute with one of the voice actors that was in the visual novel about the script and the show. What happened was, it was the voice actress for Sarah. I forgot what her name was. But what happened was that the agency that she was in was disputing with the writers for the show, and the voice actors from the visual novel ended up not being in the show, but she did suggest other voice actresses that should play in her place, and so the writers just went with that. So what you see or hear on the show may not be what was originally planned. Personally, I haven't played the visual novel, so I came into the show not knowing anything really about this show, and proud of it, because like I said, I'm not paying $60 for a fucking visual novel, mate. But still, a show like this felt more like a niche designed to target the specific audience that it was aiming for. In this case, it's aimed at people who enjoyed the feeling of a dramatic adventure. And to be honest, that's a tough pill to swallow. The first few episodes flirted with relationships between the main cast, while the main story suffered huge pacing issues from the very start, as each episode constantly bounces between cheesy comedy and dramatic sequences. Then, there's the mystery that tries to carry the plot, but what we get instead is more of a wish fulfillment love story that doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't know what to do. There's a lot of pitfalls that hardly puts emphasis on the story, shown clearly through the large amount of sex jokes, ineffective writing, and in general, lack of care in the characterization in the show. Speaking of the characters, the main character Setsuna is what I like to describe as a blank piece of paper, as in that in the show, this guy has a mysterious past, but in reality, his personality is just as empty. Through his interactions with the main cast, he doesn't really stand out as more as they do. It doesn't help that his dialogue sound monotone and robotic, and often lack enthusiasm. And the main cast consists again of three girls, Rin, Karen, and Sarah. Each of them seems to have some sort of connection with Setsuna, as shown through various flashbacks. And the show also dedicates a decent amount of screen time by using montages to enhance their relationship. Unfortunately, it fails to cook up any meaningful relationships between Setsuna and these girls, as there's too much generalization on the girls' personalities and much less on their development. Even Rin, the girl that Setsuna spends the most time with in the show, also suffers from this. Sure, there is background storytelling that makes it clear that he and Rin know more about each other than meets the eye. However, it's the type of relationship that adheres to wish fulfillment. These characters are not larger than life, and in fact, you can find them in just about any Arage visual novel. And if you ask me, it's unfortunate really, since they look charming on the surface. They looked really good. So now I bet you're asking, Payne, after what you said just now about the characters and the story, is there anything worth watching about this show? To be completely honest, it really comes down to the decision on what you'll find attractive or not. From what I saw, the comedy is blatantly inauthentic with poor timing between the characters' dialogues, and while the show had potential for its mystery elements, it really doesn't get the ride going until about midway through the series. In other words, this anime will test your patience. True story, I've honestly struggled to stay awake when watching this show, and this show felt like it would be better if you played the game, which I'm not going to say it again. Basically, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to play the game if someone gives me a fucking Steam gift card that's like $100, more than $60, because that's the only way I'm going to play this game. I'm not spending my own money on it. Anyway, there are some redeeming qualities about the show when it comes to its technicalities. I have to admit, Island does look well designed in terms of its setting. It's able to convince me of the cultural differences between itself and the outside world, and the idea of isolationism also looks credible with the relaxing atmosphere and being away from urban cities. And the characters all look like they live a carefree life with their simple clothing and moderate technology. There's also quite an abundance of fan service that may sometimes feel uncomfortable because, let's face it, some of the girls in the show look like kids. And if you watch anime for a very, very, very long time, like me and a few number of people, it's hard to look away from that and say that that's not wrong. And while on the other hand, the game developers at Frontwing was able to create this series with a very relaxing and atmospheric music. And while the montage songs can sound a bit generic, they're also appealing by itself if you just listen to them. Unfortunately, this show definitely takes a step back when it comes to its voice acting. I already mentioned Setsuna, but his voice really sounds like a cog in a machine when he opens his mouth, and the female character's voices doesn't sound any better and often too high-pitched to take to heart. To be honest, I'm glad that this show only lasted one cour, because any more than that would feel like a chore. To be able to attract an audience towards this show takes more than just a creative setting. The premise had some potential, but it's weathered down by its ineffective plot and one-dimensional characters. Perhaps if I watched this without thinking too much, it would have been a better experience, but the fact is, Island is just another example of a poor story with a budget that it doesn't deserve. And with that, I'm going to give Island a 4 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching my Island review video. If you like this video, hit the like button down below. If you want to see more anime review videos in the future, you can hit the subscribe button on the screen or down below. And if you want to see more anime review videos I've made in the past, there's a few on the screen, as well as more in my channel down below. And with that, once again, my name is Payne, and I'll see you in the next video.